G'day everyone, my name is Agent Dan and today we're going to do the unboxing of this Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 9. Now if you're new to my videos, welcome, and for those that's returning, knows I love the X1 Carbon range. They actually rank very high in my favorite list of computers and laptops for sure. Now I'm not new to them, I've seen them since playing with them actually since Gen 5, and I've done a few reviews of them throughout the years as well, and they just got better and better, and I'm excited to see Gen 9 because I know what's kind of in store for me for Gen 9, but I've never actually touched one in my hands, and I haven't actually watched any of the unboxing or review videos for Gen 9, so this is my very first impression of the Gen 9 itself. I will be creating a follow-up video with the review of this computer once I've spent a bit of time with it, so be sure to check that out. I'll put a link in the description below and you'll see that when that is available as well too. Now without further ado, let's get on with it. Now I also like to say the reason why I love this X1 card is because it is so light and has the amount of ports as well as just being quite a good computer, solid computer as well. Love the keyboard on the ThinkPads as well. So just want to get that to you before I even actually unbox this computer here. Again, without further ado, let's get on with it. Now, you know I've got my good old trusty knife with the unboxing here. So let's do that nice little slip. Oh, I think I've just kind of missed that one there, but there we go, we've got it done. I'll just put it to the side here so I don't actually get myself thing, and let's unbox this thing. Now, let's go grab this thing here. Of course, let's try and see what we get. So, as always, you know that I love to see what the power is first off. So let's have a look what we got. We've got a power cable here. That's just your normal 3-prong here. And then we've got this power adapter here. It's still a 65 watt and it charges by the USB-C port. Now it doesn't look like it's changed much since Gen 8 and Gen 7 here, so it looks very similar, so you can probably reuse. You've got old ones, that's great. I'll just move that away, we don't need that. Alright, let's have a look what is there here too. Let's just kind of move this thing out here. Now this did take a fairly long time to actually arrive here in Australia. It's finally in my hand, I love it. Now I've got, oh, what's this something a little bit different here. Now I'm just going to bring this thing here before I actually get onto the computer here now. I'm not sure, sometimes it's bundled with it, but I do know in my organization they're bundled with the Ethernet adapter. Now this Ethernet adapter normally is the CS special type of Lenovo proprietary end, but this time it is USB-C, so that's something different to Ethernet. That's nice to see. That dongle is a little bit different, so I'll just pop this on this side here. I'll move that out of the way, and that's pretty much it. That's what's in there, that's nothing else. So let's move this, let's get this thing out of its nice little foam pack here. So I'm just going to chuck that out. Let's get all that out of the way. Alright, we're looking good here. Now let's kind of get this, now this could have been the easy part. There we go. And let's throw that away. Whew. Oh yeah, still love the weight of these things. These things are just light. I've had notebooks heavier than these notebooks here. That's why they call it physical notebook here. Whoa, that's nice. Now as for texture wise, it feels a little bit different, even though it is still a carbon fiber with magnesium chassis, but this time it doesn't feel like it's going to grab as much fingerprints as the previous one. Now actually throughout all other gens of the X1 carbons, you can actually get a lot of fingerprints. It just pretty much is a magnet for fingerprints, but this type of material, they've improved that on this. This doesn't actually have as much bits for, you don't have to be wiping your things for fingerprints, so it's a lot better. It's more fingerprint proof. That's what, I don't know what you call it, but fingerprint proof. So that's nice to see. I like that. It's a little bit more smoother as well compared to the previous model as well too. I think this one's even more durable throughout the years after it's like taking a bit of a beating as well too. Now gone is that really bright Lenovo logo. It's more black, which is great, and of course it's got the usual Lenovo thing, and of course it does have a status light on where the eye, the little red for the eye, that is actually a status light, so if it goes to sleep you'll see a slow blink, and it's still there. That's great, and it's just a little key. Now let's have a quick look at the ports first off, because I know what's happening here. So on the right side here, we've got the headphone jack. That's nice to see they've still kept the headphone jack. Got a bit of space now, and then we've got the USB Type A port. Now that's probably USB 3. Gen 2. port there with power share, and then we've got a security lock slot. That's good to see. Now around the back, I've got nothing on the back. I don't even have a SIM card tray there, so maybe that might be optional. I'll just have to check that, and I'll tell you that in the review video. Now looking on the left side, ooh, now this is a bit of a change here. So we've got two Thunderbolt 4 ports, and then we've got a USB type A port, and again that probably has power share, and then a full-size HDMI port. Now I love the fact that it's still got the full-size HDMI port, because you don't need to carry a dongle for that as well too, so that's great to see. So what's changed is even though it still has two USB Thunderbolt ports, but it used to, that second Thunderbolt port used to be a CS19, so that was a special docking system there. That's gone now, so which means this probably will no longer work with your mechanical docks there anymore. So that was the Lenovo Ultra dock and the Lenovo Ultra Pro dock. That was really good. I love the clamping system. So basically you just chuck it in. I don't have one with me at the moment. You see my previous video, and then you just clamp it in, and that will work straight off. So these no longer will work for those ones there. So that's just to let you know. I can straight away see that's a new thing for there as well too. So cool. All right, it's nice to see. I really love the feel of this one there. It feels nicer than the previous model there too as well. So I'm going to move that along. I'm going to get a helper in before I start this thing up, and let's hopefully you'll see this a little bit better. Okay. Now I'm just gonna, actually before we do that, let's do the one finger test, see how if that's improved more as whatnot. So one finger, I'm just gonna have to get that lid up, and yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice. That's improved a lot. Ooh, that is good. That's a lot more smoother and does all the way through. And this one here is 180 degrees, and I can see the next difference as well too. Whoa, okay. No, sorry for that. That's why there used to be a bit of space here, was because this used to have, on this side where the headphone jack used to have the exhaust. Now the exhaust is now hidden underneath the hinge area. I'm gonna have to do a close-up shot for there, and it's coming from the right side, so near the power button, and also the power button's been moved as well too. Ooh, okay, this is gonna be interesting for that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see what the X1 Yoga would be like, because that would be a bit of a change here for that there. I have my reserve rights. I know some people like having the exhaust behind the hinge. It does make it look more cleaner, but I personally prefer to have the exhaust on the right side or the left side coming out. Now the reason why I'm saying that is because when you heat these things computer up a fair bit, when you're really working these computer up, you really want the exhaust not to be blocked by anything, and having it behind the hinge is where it's usually blocked by, and so you have to have the display at a probably what we call an optimal display angle, and they will actually be able to do. But this may not actually be a problem. I can straight away see it may not be a problem here, because there's quite a huge gap between the hinge and the actual computer itself. And also I've also noticed as well too, while I'm just saying that the hinge is completely different as well too. It used to be two hinges on each side, now it's just completely one big long hinge along the pretty much above the keyboard. So that's a huge difference there for that. I actually like this design here. Like I said, I normally like having it on the side, but this may be a good thing. Having it on the third, because we've got quite a bit of the gap, so I don't think we're going to have that issue where it's got to be in some sort of optimal angle. That's what I'm going to say. So I'm interested to see how this runs off as well too. So I'm just going to have a quick check. If I bring this up, does this lift the lid up? Not really. It doesn't lift it much at all. So that's kind of good to see, because sometimes you just want a little bit of gap on the bottom here. So because of course you've got the little hole at the back here, and that's to actually suck in air to breathe, but I can see there's actually a ledge here along the back here, and that doesn't move at all. So the edge here, which means this is always propped up, so you don't have to worry about whatever angle you need for the lid, so I actually have the breathe hole not be covered, so that's good to see. So I think I might like this design. I think Lenovo's doing a really good thing as well too. Now the other thing I can see straight away as well while I've got this thing opened up, I'm just going to move this across here, is the speakers. I think the speakers have now gone larger on each side now. It used to be located on the top, but now that's on the side. I really love the X1 carbon speakers. I love the sound quality of them, so I'm really excited to see that one there. Now they do come in, now this is of course 11th gen Intel Core, and this one says Evo certificates, which means it should be able to do 9 hours for that as well. So you can either get these in i5s or i7s. Right here I've got an i7 version as well, and for the RAM wise it can go maximum, and this is a new improvement on here, it can go up to a maximum of 32 gigs of RAM. Now it's soldered to the system board. Previously it was 16 gigs, so it's a little bit limiting. Now they can do 32 gigs. Fantastic, which means this can do a little bit more productivity work for more of the professional stuff, where like video editing and stuff like that. So that's great to see. I like the fact that they're finally bringing up the RAM a little bit, and again it's got probably one M.2 slot for it. So while I'm talking about it, let's try and boot this thing up. Of course, if we need to boot this computer up, with all Lenovo's, you need to have it connected to power. It's a safety feature for Lenovo, which is what I found out before. It's when they're shipping, so it doesn't accidentally turn itself on. So I'm going to grab the power. Now I'm going to just grab a USB power here, because I know I've got one I was using for another computer. And I'm just going to bring it up, and we've of course got light here, and we should now be turning it on. Now, like I said, the power button is located on the top here, and I can see it's got a fingerprint built into the power button on the top. Now I have my reserve rights. It's good that it's actually the power button's outside of the keyboard, arrangement. But I kind of like having the power button on the side in case if you want to, which I run a lot, and I know a lot of other people do, run these computers off a docking station, and so therefore you don't have to open the lid just to access the power button, because some docking stations don't have a power button, so it actually mirrors that. So I would have liked to have the old version where you can have the power button on the right, but hey, not too bad still. It's just a little thing I would have liked to see, maybe go back that way. Hey, I have to learn, see how it goes, but that's my thoughts on the power button there. But nice. Okay, now it probably wants me to do a bit of setup. Now let's have a quick look, play with the keys. Now the keys look a little bit bigger. I can definitely see, it looks like a little bit bigger than before, and also just having a look at it from this angle here, that the travel distance of the keys are a little bit shallower than previously, because I can just straight, I'm so used to the X1 Carbon's 8th gen, 7th gen that I can definitely see it straight away. This, it feels like, now I have done also the Lenovo X1 Nano. This has that sort of depth as well to the X1 Nano. The actual, it's not as clicky, it's not definitely as loud for that, but I'm going to have to really have a play with this keyboard here to see if I'm going to like that little less travel, because that's one of the big things I love the ThinkPad keyboards for, its travel. Now they've made it a little bit shallower. I still think I'm going to like it still anyway, but it's nicer. It's still nice. It does have a bit of a more tactile feel, bounce to it than previously, so I can definitely feel that one there. But yeah, the spacebar still very nice and clicky. I love it because I love the mechanical keyboards anyway. Now as for the touchpad, touchpad it's gone more, definitely it's gone more smoother than before. It feels like a glass feel. It is still mechanical at the bottom, which is great to see. And we've still got the, what I call the G spot, or the keyboard nipple, which is its proper name is the track point here. And you got the three buttons on the bottom, and I can see I've got the backlit buttons there. So function spacebar will activate the backlit. Now, of course, that is optional. I know some people have said in my comments that they don't have the backlit keyboards. It is an optional feature. I don't know why you would try and get it without. I think they should really be bundled with, all of them should actually have bundled with the backlit keys, but it is optional, so sometimes you might not find that as well too. Now I also can see the function key is on the very left, sorry. It's always there. You can actually swap that with the control key. There is a a hack for it, or you can, so not hack, you can change it in the BIOS, or you can do it in the keyboard software, in the Lenovo keyboard software. You can swap that around if you get annoyed by that as well too. Now, another thing I've actually realized as well too is the grouping of the keys. I've just noticed now, because I'm looking at the keys, is the grouping of the keys on the function keys, on the top keys. They group in about 5, 4, 4, 4. Which is a bit interesting. Normally it's just one lot there, but now they've actually grouped it up. There's a space between F4 and F5, and there's another space between F4, 8 and F9. Interesting. I think I might like it as well too, because that makes it easier to find groups as well too. Something, oh sorry, is this touch? Do I have a touch? Yeah, I've got a touch version too, so that's great. Now the touch, there is a non-touch and touch version, and there's full HT, and there is a privacy version as well too, and also there is a 4K version as well. That's touch. Now the full HD, it's 400 nits of brightness. The privacy is 500 nits of brightness, and 4K is 500 nits of brightness as well too. Now of course it's got the I can see something even different as well too, is the webcam. It is unfortunately still 720p webcam. Come on Lenovo, let's get up to 1080p webcam. Some of the other matchups have started moving up. I think you guys can do 1080p webcam as well. We're doing more content creations. We're also doing a lot more video conferencing these days anyway. So I'd like to see a 1080p webcam for maybe the next version. It'd be definitely nice to see that. There is no option to upgrade. It's still only a 1080p, and there is an IR version as well too. But I can definitely see that the privacy shutter for it has been changed. It's on the left side of it now, so that's nice to see, and it's a little bit smaller there. It used to be on top, so that's nice. It's something different. I just saw that one there, so I am excited to see that. Now, what else is this kind of? It really has a lot of different changes with this Gen 9 for sure, compared to the Gen 8, and even since the Gen 5. It hasn't really changed too much. Besides the speakers, but the actual design is very simple. This has had a bit of design upgrade, so this is nice. I'm loving it. Now I'm going to quickly go through the setup of this, and I'll get back to you because I want to see the sound quality of this. Just a very quick one before, just so you guys can see what it feels like. I got the computer quickly set up, and while I was setting up the computer, I noticed something on the keys. Now each keys has now changed a little bit more than previously. I couldn't see it before, but after I start typing I can feel it straight away. Is that each keys is now more flat. Now the previous models of the X1 Carbons, the keys used to have a little bit of a concave sort of texture to it, or each keys, I don't know how to explain, but the actual shape of it was, each keys was a little bit more concave. Now it's actually flat, so I can definitely feel the difference there too. You just have to be on a ThinkPad for a while and you actually feel the difference anyway. But still, it's not bad, but I do prefer the whole way of doing things. But I guess when you're trying to make it more shallow, probably it's got more thinner. I probably think it's got more thin. That's probably the reason why here for it. But still, that's just something I've just noticed, just to let you know. Anyway, let's go for the sound. I'm just going to have a quick play of it just there. I'm only going to do about half volume and we'll give it a bang. So, just... we'll bring this up a little bit. I'm about 50% here. Yeah, it still sounds really nice there. It doesn't look like the actual speakers hasn't changed too much, you know, so that's good to see. Speakers are still very decent now. I'm gonna do a proper one on the review video for see the maximum sound. I don't think it's changed much. It does have 4 speakers, so 2 on the side and 2 on the bottom here, and does have quite a bit of bass, so I like it. I can definitely straight away hear the acoustic is still just as good as well too. The other big change that you will definitely notice is that the display is now a 16:10 ratio. I love this ratio because it gives you a bit more screen real estate, especially for that start bar, which is actually great for that extra bit. And so I love the 16:10 ratio. Now I've been using that on my Dell XPS 15 and I'm loving that aspect ratio. So it's great to see that the Gen 9 now has a 16:10 aspect ratio for the display. fantastic. I hope you actually enjoy my first impression of the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 9. I'm very excited to actually have a play with it, and I can definitely see there's a lot of changes here, and I think they're going to be for the good in a way. Now, if you find this video informative or enjoyed it, or even to support my channel, do hit that like button. It does support me a lot. And if I also have a membership, if you want to hit that join button, I do try to do a little bit of that on there for my members as well too. And of course, if you haven't done already, subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button. And why not? I do try to upload a new video every week. And just remember, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.